Welcome in. It is day 276, and you're speaking to the Meeples Champion. And today we're going to be going over a game that a friend let me borrow. He actually insisted that I borrow this game and claimed this is the worst game he ever got. And he really wanted me to try the game and review it. So here we are, preparing to review as we burn in hell. Now this is a Steve Jackson game. Must have been an older game. It's not one I had heard of. And right off the bat, it didn't grab me. It took me over a month to get this finally to a table because I just kind of dreaded playing it. It didn't look like a game I'd want to play anyways, and the extremely scathing review that my friend gave me about it made me far less interested. But it's my job to try to really keep a scope open to a lot of games that I may not normally play, to try to review for you, not only because I want you to have a scope outside of just my interest, but because 365 reviews is a lot of games, and eventually you start running dry. So I need to get this one out there. So I test tried the game today, and wasn't my favorite. But let me give you a basic of how this works. So essentially, you're all going to start with 5 cards, and there are going to be 5 cards in the middle. And you are trying to finish the game with the most points, which makes sense. Every card is going to be named after, from what I could tell from when I kind of went through a few of them, it's just bad people in history, which, you know, a little bit of promotion for villains, but whatever, ignore that. And the idea is that they each have a value to them. I'm assuming the values were based on how bad they were. And when it's your turn, you're going to draw 3 cards, you're going to pick one of them, and you have to throw them into the hell. This is going to reduce, based on their value, the temperature of hell. Hell starts at 100. We're going to keep going until it hits 0. Now, once you've done that, then you can do an ability. There's a bunch of abilities, but there's things about stealing from people, and there's the concepts of making a circle. A circle means that you're going to be making a circle of people that will go together, and they're going to score as a circle for you. You're going to keep doing this. You're going to pass it around, and eventually the game's going to get to the point where you're finished, and you're going to score your circles, and you're going to score the value of everybody in your hand. And then whoever has the biggest value wins. It's not a great game. I don't think it's horrendous. I was expecting to not find a game here. There is a game. It just doesn't feel great. I feel like if you took away the theme just didn't help it, and the cards didn't help it. There is something for a game here, but it feels like it should have been a very generic type of card game setup, and they just kind of plastered it with the wrong theme and the wrong art to sell it. I think there is a legitimate, simple game in here. It just wasn't one that I loved. That being said, why don't we jump in? Let's judge on our 7 categories and see where this one lands for us. When it comes to the art, I don't love the box. The box doesn't grab me, and the cards do nothing. And what's really annoying is while it's informative no matter which side you're looking at, the front is a picture of somebody, which is not great art to me, and the back, it's not even a nice back design of the cards. It's just words. I feel like they missed an opportunity. They could have at least had a consistent, back of the card art that could have been nice. And then the front of the card, even though I don't love it, at least would have been then a nicer looking game. But they made it so you never want to look at the backs. The backs are just ugly. I don't think there's any redeeming art here. Thumbs down. Components. All you have is the cards, and to their credit, the cards seem fine. I didn't see anything that looked like it was going to easily rip. It didn't look like it was going to easily wear. This seems at the very least a 3 out of 5, maybe even squeezing in on a 4 out of 5 on the quality. So perfectly fine. Thumbs up. The price. Now, I attempted to look this up. I didn't find it anywhere. It's an older game. It wasn't successful, so I don't think you're going to find it. So while I don't think you're ever going to see somebody mark this up, the game isn't good enough to mark it up. It's a discount type find, and it's a luck type find, which means the price has to be thumbs down. Just might not find it. The difficulty. It's not difficult. And I mean that in the worst way. This is perfectly fine for, I guess, the best of the 4 categories, if I'm really looking at this, is probably beginner. Experts aren't going to want anything to do with this. I don't think experienced players are going to want much to do with this. There's not really much of a game here. So then you go to your kids and to your beginners. And for kids, I just don't think this is one they're going to be laughing and having fun with. I think this is not going to grab them, and they're not going to be interested in just basically doing different versions of math. I mean, that's what it comes out to me as a bad theme on math. So I guess the beginners are the basics. It's not enough, though. Got to be a thumbs down. Your replayability. I mean, I just don't think there's much of a game here. If you like it, yes, I think it's replayable. But it's up to if you like it, and I don't think this is going to hit for most of you. So even though I don't think this is a game that can't be replayed in the same day, I don't see this being a game you're going to play once and want to play again. Thumbs down. The keys to victory. So I guess the keys come down to, obviously, you're trying to get the highest points possible in your hand. At the same time, if you think you're ahead, you're trying to kill off the hell temperature as fast as you can as well. So you're trying to get that temperature down. So sometimes it's worth sacrificing a big number if you think you have a shot at being in the lead. You also are trying to pay attention to your circles and pay attention to people trying to steal from you, trade with you, all those kinds of things. So I think there are keys here. It's not exactly like Flux or Munchkin for pure luck, but there is elements in there which to me hurts that. It takes away from the keys mattering as much. So I think it's just teetering too much towards that luck factor. Thumbs down. Is the game unique? I suppose it is, but in ways I'm kind of thinking about, I'm like, well, circles almost feel like straights and runs in like Rummy and in other card games where you officially, I made a trick, it goes to the side. So circles feel like it's been scored, it's safe, it's away. And then the stealing of cards, we've seen that in other games where you can steal from somebody's hand. You know, the idea of cards to the center, I mean, we've seen that in other games. I don't know. I feel like you take this theme away. Is the game repeatable elsewhere? No, but can you find an element of this game that feels unique? Maybe not. The idea of like bringing down that temperature, I feel like it's all thematic and you take away the theme off of what you're saying and you find other games that do these elements. Nothing 100%, but enough where I can replace every element here with another game better. So I'm actually going to say that it's not unique. Thumbs down. Overall, what do I think? The game isn't very good. I think that they hurt themselves with their art and their theme. I think that there is a legitimate card game here, but they need to get away from all of this. If they had went with a very basic, go with an abstract art, and don't go with the theme of hell. Instead, just go with a very generic abstract attack of we're trying to get from 100 to 0. That's it. You don't need to make it some big production. If you did that, and you got rid of all the funniness on the cards because it didn't land, and you made it just a nice general setup of, hey, we have a much larger deck, almost kind of going in the direction of, we've seen these decks that are their own unique cards, and that when you use them that way, they land perfectly fine. And, they might have a basis of another game, the 52 card deck, but now we've added a suit and we've extended it up to 13 or 14, or if you do that, that's fine. You could do that with this game and you could make a nice general quick small $10 box and have a game here. They just went with the wrong theme, they went the wrong art, and I really feel that hurt what could have been a good game. So if they could work on that, this would be a worthwhile game. But in its current state, I say don't waste your money, don't waste your time. If you see it, just leave it. It's not going to be worth money someday. It's not going to be a game people are asking you to play, and it's not going to be a game you're going to want to play again. And while I normally wouldn't say, if you find this in the thrift store for $5, I normally would say take a shot. With this one, I just feel like it's okay to leave it. You don't need to pick up every game. Well, it has been day 276. We've been speaking about the game Burn in Hell. And you've been speaking to the Meeples Champion. Like, share, subscribe, and check down below in the description. I'll be adding in an Amazon link in case you want to get this game for your collection. if I can find it. Until next time, I'll talk to you tomorrow.